What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. It is day one of New York Jets minicamp, and I will break everything down for you guys, including some sound from the New York Jets head coach. So we'll get started with the positives on the offensive side of the ball, then we'll get into guys who stood out defensively and get into the quotes after that. So 11 on 11 work. In fact, the first play, Garrett Wilson burned the absolute shit out of Brandon Stephens. They're good. It was a great ball, a good throw deep down the field from Justin Fields. Love that. Garrett Wilson blowing past the corner. Love that. The bad, well, Brandon Stephens, a little bit of a controversial signing, not one that everyone was on board with. And getting cooked and exposed is unfortunately something that was a big issue for him a year ago. So overall, I'm looking at the positive. I want to look at this as the positive that Garrett Wilson is awesome, which is what is expected. Obviously, Justin Fields pushing the ball down the field, making a nice throw. Love that. The bad is, well, unfortunately in minicamp, it's going against a teammate, and Brandon Stephens is projected as a starting outside corner. So take that however you want. I'm going to look at it with the Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson lens. Last thing for me on the offense, just in general, I guess it's two things, but combined. One, Fields, I thought from all the reports, had a pretty good day, was much more decisive and aggressive than he has been, which I'm sure that's going to continue as he gets more comfortable. But the offense was playing with some nice tempo too. And that was a big criticism I had last year, and really the year before that. But the Jets felt like offensively never got in rhythm. It was scratching, clawing, fighting for every yard. Nothing came easy. And, again, I know it's mini camp and they're not tackling and all that stuff. Totally understand. But I would like to see the Jets offense play with more tempo this year, get in a rhythm, and start moving. So that I'm going to take as positive too. Defensively, the main note that I have for you on the defensive side of the ball is Byron Cowart's name kept coming up. And I think that's really someone that we need to watch and pay close attention to during training camp. We'll have a better idea of what the starters are going to look like as we progress through training camp. But Cowart showed out now in minicamp and in OTAs. That's two things. So if that continues into training camp, he seems like the favorite right now to be the starter next to Quinnen Williams. Does that mean that Leonard Taylor can't win the job? No. Does it mean that, Noddy can't win the job? No. Or anyone else? Obviously not. Things can change. It's only still the beginning of June. There's a lot of time left. But at the end of the day, so far, all we could do is talk about the information that we have so far, and Byron Cowart's been the best of the bunch, and he's played really well. So I'm excited for that. Maybe he's someone who breaks out a little bit under this staff. Let's get to the Aaron Glenn quotes. He spoke about having a full team at minicamp.
There's a number of players around the NFL that are holding out of minicamps. They're filing out OTAs and searching a new contract. You have several players on the team who are eligible for those contracts, guys like Saxon and Jermaine. They're all here. What does that say? That they could be standing aside and say, pay me and then I'll show up, but they're here and they're committed and they're practicing and taking part in it?
Well, first off, I can care less about other teams. So I don't know what you're talking about with other guys not holding out. But our guys are coming to compete, and that's who they are. And listen, I don't take that lightly either. So I'm appreciative, but I know how they're built too. So those guys come to work.
I love it. That's great. He's talking about, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, the two guys who could be one of the players that are holding out and saying, pay me and I'll show up, but they're not. And, that speaks to their character, number one, but, it speaks to the culture too. And we'll get into more quotes on the culture in a little bit, but I just, I think that's a good thing and a positive that we could take out so far. And speaking on Aaron Glenn mentioning that there's, that everyone's there, I think my new favorite bit, because it's happened nearly every single time Aaron Glenn has spoke, is he eviscerates Rich Cimini just about every single press conference. Listen to this answer on Rich Cimini asking about if there was anyone missing.
Is everyone here on the roster?
You tell me.
I mean, it looked like everyone's here.
There you go.
Poor Rich. I don't know what he did in his past life or what he did to Aaron Glenn, maybe as a player or just how he's been covered. I don't know. But AG likes giving it to him. And from a content perspective, it's funny. I like it. I'm glad it's not me. I hinted at it. Here's Aaron Glenn on culture.
Culture is all about people. So you bring the right people in the building, that determines what kind of culture you're going to have. Now, listen, I give the guys before this regime, before we got here, credit because listen, we don't have any just bad guys. I think we have a bunch of good guys on this team. So I give those guys a lot of credit for the guys they have here. So now our job is to make sure we steer them in the right direction, the way that we want to play football, the way that we want to operate, the way that we want this building to be. And to me, that's what culture is. And the players know that, and they've seen the different type of guys that we brought in. And they understand exactly what type of culture we're trying to build just by those men coming in the building. And even the people that we hired here as coaches and other departments of this building also. So I'm talking about men and women.
Culture is all about the right people in the building, and he gave some credit to the previous regime for bringing good guys in here. Now, as he mentions, next step is getting the team to play the style and the brand of football that they all would like to see. Glenn also mentioned that Jermaine Johnson will be ready for the start of the season, but there's a chance that he starts training camp on the PUP list.
What's the timeline for Jermaine? Will he be ready for training camp?
I would say that he'll be close. He'll be close. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on PUP, but he'll be ready for the season.
What stood out to you when you watching Jermaine that's on film just from the last few years and just the potential you see in him?
There's things that stand out going back to college, what I saw him, and even at the Senior Bowl when I had a chance to coach him then. He's a hard-nosed, physical, violent player that's very athletic, that has the ability to win off the edge and make plays on the quarterback. Listen, you don't get a lot of guys that have the athleticism as he does, but still be strong and powerful to be able to hold it against the run. So I'm excited to see that player get out there in training camp and going into the first game. So he's going to be a huge part of what we're doing. He knows that. But again, he understands what he got to get better at too, though.
Can't say I'm all that surprised on Jermaine Johnson. Bring him back slowly, but that's one of the reasons why I keep bringing up Edge 3, whoever's going to be Edge 3 on this team is going to have an important role, especially early on in the year. Last note from Minicamp, Aaron Glenn confirmed that the Jets and Giants will be doing joint practice together over the summer leading up to their preseason games. So we'll always look forward to that. It's exciting watching the guys go up against each other. You obviously don't want to see any injuries, but it does usually get pretty chippy. It is cool to see, like, you're practicing against the same guys every day. It gets a little repetitive, so it's a nice little refresher too. So that'll do it for me on this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.